Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. This is Alisa, Alisa's Adventures in Cruising, and I'm here for the Monday mood check because it's Monday evening already. How in the world did that happen? I feel like the weekend definitely flew by, and Monday definitely felt like Monday. I mean, it was off to a good start for me, excuse me, and Conscious Cruiser and Sea Lake Journeys because we had the premiere of our podcast this morning. Um, but the rest of the day was a lot. It was a regular old Monday back at it. So anyway, you guys know hey, chat, Sea Lake Journeys is here. Thank you so much for coming in. I see you were the first. Yes, you beat Scott tonight. You beat Scott tonight. You know he's gonna come in and say something. Denise. How are you, Denise? I hope you're doing well. Hope your weekend was good. It definitely went fast. That is for sure. I should say I don't know who reached out to Sea Lake Journeys, or I guess you guys were on their Sunday show last night and asked if we were all okay here in Florida. I was fine. But the good friends that they are, they called to check on us and make sure we were okay, and even offered an emergency rescue mission if necessary. It wasn't necessary this time, but hurricane season will be here soon enough, so I'm gonna put a bit in that. Hopefully I never have to use that phone call, but you never know. But seriously, everything was fine in my area. We had some rain, but it was otherwise pretty quiet. We were kind of waiting and expecting to hear, some really high winds and that kind of stuff, but it did not come to be. So we're thankful for that. But I thank you guys for being concerned, but we are all a-okay. Um, so I see more people coming in. Let me make sure I say hi, Denise. Hey, Will G, how are you? Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate you. Denise worked all weekend. Glad I'm off tonight. Oh, I'm glad you're off tonight too. You need some rest, I am sure. LF McKinley is here. Good evening. Happy Monday. Thanks for coming in. Sea Lake Journey says, I was going to bring you some food. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. When the power's out, you got to eat. We got slammed in Mississippi. We were okay here, but the town I grew up in was hit by two tornadoes an hour apart. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's so scary. And so the pictures on the news are always so intense, and there's nothing you can do. All that you could try and do is get into a safe shelter situation. I'm not sure. I think we talked about this on Saturday, Denise. I don't know if you guys have storm basements there in Mississippi. We definitely do not have them as a regular thing here in Florida. So it's kind of like you just have to hunker down the best you can, and pray for the best. So I'm sorry to hear that happened in your hometown. That must have been really scary. Sea Lake Journey saying hi to Legacia. Hey, Legacia from Denise. Lori, I have a class to get to, but I'll check back for the replay. Have fun tonight. Thanks so much, Lori. Thanks for popping in. Say hi. Enjoy your class. Okay, Elisa. Denise has booked the ABC cruise, so now it's your turn. It is. It is my turn. You guys, I am so like I know I'm going to Greece, but I still have to wrap my head around it and get ready for that. But I've not forgotten about the ABC cruise. I have not forgotten, Chet, not at all. Um, we're in a two-story with an interior bathroom downstairs. Okay, okay, so that was your safe place, safe room. So we have somewhere to to be. I think that's what you were going to say, Denise. Hey, Kim. Hi, Alisa, and everyone. Thanks so much for coming in. I thank you for coming in, Kim, and saying hi to everyone. Denise saying, "Yeah, you had someplace to go." Yep, we're booked. I know. I saw that you had. You said that earlier today, and I think you mentioned it over the weekend too. So, no pressure, Denise. I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm looking. April 11th through the 19th. Sea Lake Journeys is saying hi to Kim. Thank you for that. Okay, you guys. Well, if you were with me last Monday, I don't even remember how we got on the subject of Doctor Odyssey. I know I have talked about this show before because I was really, really curious when it was coming on and hopeful that it was going to be like the next best thing since the Love Boat. We're cruisers, people. We like to talk about cruises and the fun we have on those ships. Hey, it took me like 9 months to book. Denise says, I know. You got to wait for everything to come into an alignment. I know. um, Not after Bruce and Tom, they called you. Ooh, no pressure. My goodness. That's funny. You are you are right. I barely made it through. I didn't see one passenger. Yeah, so I was really hoping that the Doctor Odyssey, it's a new show, well, new this season, TV season, I guess, on ABC, right? ABC? I think it's on ABC. And we like our cruises. I thought, we all have a reference of the Love Boat. That's where I learned about cruises. That's where I'm gonna do that someday. And now look at us. Look at us. We're on there all the time. So even though I knew it was gonna be kind of a doctor focus show, I'm like, it's on a cruise ship. He's just like a modern day Doctor. What was his name? Dr. Adam Bricker. Figured there'd be, some questionable romances on the on the cruise ship, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Wait, I should before I tell you what I think, I need to find out what you guys think. So hold please. First of all, besides the storms, being worried about the storms, did everybody have a good weekend? Everybody booked some cruises or thought about cruises or something like that. I don't know. Just had a sort of relaxing weekend. I hope so. Hey TJ, how are you? Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. You guys are so funny. Well, anyway, so somehow last week we got on this, or I got on the subject of the show Doctor Odyssey, and I don't know. Somebody said that I asked if you guys would watch it, and we would come back and talk about it. Hey, Anna, how are you? Thanks so much for coming. Hope you're doing well. I have my dinner. I was just gonna say I'm not cooking today, so I hope you have food. I'm ready. Hello, everyone. I started saying, well, if we all watch, I think last week, yeah, last Monday was the 10th. If we all pick the 10th episode to watch, we could come back on and talk about it together and figure out what we like, don't like, thought, whatever. I know I've talked about this show before, but I thought, okay, it's probably gotten to a groove now. The first couple episodes were a little like, huh? I don't know. I don't know. But I thought by the 10th episode, they're probably, settled into what the show is actually going to be like on a regular basis. So, we talked about what the 10th episode was. I think we were off a little bit. We thought the 10th episode was going to be the shark attack. I think that was actually number 9. But we're gonna watch the shark one, and then for extra credit, extra homework, bonus points, we were gonna watch the second part of that show, which was I don't even know. Was it still called Shark Attack? I guess it was called Orca, something like that. So let me say hi. See more people coming in. Hi, Travel with Josiane. How are you? Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Destination Fun. Hey, Sherry. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Coming in and saying hi to everyone. I like it a lot. So we decided we were going to watch that show. And so here we are. Here we are. My first question is one, had you all watched it before I was talking about it? Like, was that already becoming part of your regular lineup? Did you think the same thing or along those lines that it was going to be kind of a modern day love boat for all of us cruise fans? Somebody let me know what they thought about that. LF McKinley is saying, "Hey, pen pal." What show? Destination One. We're talking about Doctor Odyssey. It looks like the reason that I wanted to watch it is because it's set on a cruise ship. Surprise, surprise. I thought it was going to be a modern day love boat, with the doctor being the main character. Um, that show, that show is wild. I don't like that show. Count me out. um, Doctor Odyssey. Yeah, Sherry. Everybody telling Sherry. Doctor Odyssey. What is it on? I think it's on ABC. Am I right, you guys? Is it on ABC? Um, I watched it like on demand, so I don't really know what it actually aired on, but just regular cable TV, none of the big specialty channels or whatever, or subscription channels. My first question for those who watched the episode is why were there no passengers? Why why were there no passengers on this episode? I was so curious about why there are no passengers on this episode, um, that I went back to try to fast forward through the previous episode. The previous episode was called Quackers. That's a whole other thing. It was referencing us being cruisers, us and our love of the ducks, and a whole thing about hiding the ducks. And I don't think they were like, oh, that's so cute. I think they were making fun of us, cruise people, and our appreciation for the ducks on the cruise ship. So that didn't help me by going back to try to figure out where they left off and why there were no passengers on the ship. So um, I was always watching it. It was pretty different than I thought. But yes, because it was on a cruise ship, I didn't care what the storyline was. Etta, yes, I wanted to watch it. Um, Never heard of it. Oh, well, you're among friends here, Sherry. So you're about to get an earful, and then you can decide if it's worth your while or not. I watched it on Hulu so I could binge. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's how I watched it before, but then I was trying to figure out which. Anyway, I watched it on demand this time, but same thing, same difference. You got me with that. You are so right. Lakeisha says, I've never seen it. Okay, well, it's starring Don Johnson, which again, that's a draw. I couldn't tell you the names of any of the other actors. Um, there have been a couple of, I don't even know if we call it. They would not be A-list stars that are coming on, but there've been a big couple of other people come on that you would recognize. Um, but yeah. I've never seen. Maybe we can all be guest stars on an episode. Maybe with chat. Robin, did you guys watch? The storylines are wild. It's more of like, ugh. I think like the description, the TV guide, well, TV guide. I'm sure it's not TV guide anymore, but you know what I mean. The TV critics describe it more as like a cross between, um, let me see if I can find one, like a cross between the Love Boat and Grey's Anatomy. Uh I don't think so. It was maybe the Grey's Anatomy part just because of it being about a doctor and some very potentially um, what's the word? Detailed, gruesome medical situations. But it's it's definitely a nighttime drama. Episode 8 was bananas. Was it about ducks? I think the episode 8 was the one called Quackers, I think. I think that was the episode. Yes, it was about the ducks. And about a group of it was basically like a chartered cruise, and everybody on there were big quackers, meaning they were into the whole love of the ducks and hiding of the ducks, and but people had major issues, major problems. It was kind of like a whole take on, um, from what I saw, because I did not watch the full episode, but about people escaping their real lives and their real problems by going on cruises or multiple cruises, but in the most negative sense. I thought, at least I thought it was like, wait, what? Who are you talking about? Like these, everybody has something. Everybody has problems, but there's nothing wrong with taking a vacation or two if you can. um, see that good time ready. Dr. Odyssey will always be Pacey Dawson's Creek forever. Oh, is that the actor? Is that what he was on? Can't say Love Boat because Love Boat had passengers. Well, it normally has passengers, but the episode that we watched about the sharks did not have passengers, which was wild. Episode 8 was about the duck community. Thank you, Etta. Denise, hey, Jen. Cohen, how are you? Sorry, I saw your comment earlier about Dawson's Creek, but I didn't say hello. Hello, Jen Cohen. Hey Bill, how are you? Hello, Alisa in chat. Thanks for coming in, Bill. I appreciate it. That's why I cruise. Denise, yeah, if you wanna like pay attention to everything that's going on at home, stay home. But not in a way like you should probably be seeking psychiatric evaluations. You're in the medical field, you know. Jen saying hi to everybody. Hey Marjorie, how are you? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. So yeah, so there were no episodes, no passengers aboard the cruise ship on this episode about the shark attack, which I just struck me as odd. Now I know we all cruise a lot, and we know that there's like a reason for there not to be passengers for a whole sailing. It's a repositioning cruise, like it's going to dry dock, it's something like that. um there was no mention, there just was no mention that I saw of why there were no passengers. Okay, I will have to go and watch more. It was going to dry dock. I mean, potentially, TJ, potentially the ship was going to dry dock, except for the episode starts where they're all hanging out on a beach. They're like have the whole crew, which is again, I'm not knocking it. Crew, it's nice idea that the crew gets to have some time off, some downtime. Um, they were all hanging out on a beach doing games, sunbathing, swimming, the whole deal. And then two of the crew members are going to go into the water. One is, I don't know if Quakers has a double meaning. Quackers, not Quakers, Quackers. I don't know if Quackers has a double meaning or not, but it wasn't they weren't exactly excited to see the Quackers coming on board the ship. But anyway, they were going to go into the water. One of the guys who happens to be like the nurse on the ship was going to teach another one of the crew members. I think he was a first officer. We're going to teach him how to surf because he wanted to learn how to surf. So they're standing there, or they standing on the beach, and they look out into the water, and then they decide to go in, and they weren't really surfing. They were just kind of paddling along. The one guy's laying on his board, kind of feet and arms dangling in the water. You like my reenacting? See, feet in water, dangling in the water. For those of us in Florida, we know that's like you're inviting a shark. He was attacked by a shark. The shark knocks him off, is dragging him under. Um, you never actually saw you saw a fin, but you never saw like, I mean, I know it's not real, but you never saw like a whole tussle or whatever with the shark. You just saw like you saw blood in the water, and then you saw him on the beach, and they start trying to treat him medically. I don't know where the beach was, how far away it was from an actual city, town, hospital, whatever. But to treat him for the shark bite, they take him back onto the ship where the rest of the medical staff, which is the doctor, a PA, and the nurse that he was surfing with, all tried to save him and save his leg from where he had the shark bite. So that was a whole lot. Who saw that? I don't want to talk the whole time. You guys gotta help me out. What'd you see? Hey Edna, how are you? Happy Monday. Thanks for coming in. I hope you had a good weekend. I see you've been posting, excuse me, lots of video. You always post lots of videos, but lots of videos that I need to catch up on from your cruise on the panorama. So I got to catch up on that. Hey Keisha, how are you? Thanks so much for coming. She's having dinner and listening. Appreciate that. Appreciate you listening in. Okay, so no comment so far on the shark attack and why there were no passengers, just the crew. Um, so they get him. I will have to check this show out. Okay. You check it out, Sherry. You check it out and let us know what you think. I definitely watched. Okay, was that a good recap so far? Anna, you definitely watch. Remember to smash the like button. Feel free to you and invaluable to the channel. Oh, thank you so much, Jen Cohen. I appreciate you saying that because I just start talking. Hey David, how are you? If you turn a shark upside down, they will go to sleep. Well, clearly there was not enough time to do that, or he didn't have enough information to know to try to put the shark to sleep, and he was attacked by the shark. So they get him back on the ship, and I don't know, and I hope nobody ever actually has to go. I'm being serious for a minute here. I hope nobody actually has to ever go to the ship's clinic, infirmary, whatever we call it these days. But I do know that if there is a medical emergency, there's usually I don't know if it's always a doctor. I think so. At least I think it the bigger ships always have a doctor, maybe more, a couple of nurses, maybe PAs. I'm not sure about that, but they will respond if it's a medical emergency. But my understanding was that it was always, like they will assess you, if you need to have serious medical attention, they would make arrangements to get you to the nearest hospital on land. I've certainly not heard of any major procedures being performed on board a cruise ship. Is that what you guys think as well? Or do you think that, you know, if you needed an emergency appendage appendage removal, they would do that? I was watching but fell behind. Now I have to watch. You don't even need to rub its belly. I fell asleep when I was upside down once. Why does that sound like a whole other story, Chet? No cruise ship lobotomies or amputations. Chet, you got to go back and watch this, man. Or maybe you'll be like, dude, this is so unrealistic. So, it comes down, they try to treat him, antibiotics, stabilize him, all of that. But at one point, they're telling him they're going to need to amputate, and um, they don't. They end up saving him and saving not having to perform surgery on his leg, but that was only the first incident of the episode. I know someone that fell and broke their hip and needed surgery. They wanted to take to hospital on that country, no surgery on ship. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I can understand people not wanting to, maybe go to a foreign country for that. Try to hold out. I don't know if you actually can. I think that would be dangerous to hold out for a hip surgery to try and get back to the U.S. But if you're close enough for the Coast Guard to come and get you, and they could at least bring you to Miami, is my understanding. But you wouldn't want to. I would think most people would be nervous about going to, I don't know, the Bahamas and having their surgery, or not even the Bahamas, a country where you don't speak the language. Um, I don't think they perform anything like that. I was on a ship that stopped in the middle of the ocean to medevac a passenger. Yes, I've seen that a couple of times or heard of that a couple of times. I know people have been airlifted out for, heart attack situations, things of that nature. I would think the person that Sherry was talking about the needing an emergency surgery, that would be. Now I know it's television. What about episode one? They started the series with a broken sausage. Crazy. Yeah. The storylines are wild. Oh no. Broken what? Uh Again, procedures were performed. It's like, wait, what? Um Again, I'm sure that the doctors on board the cruise ships are all, qualified to handle emergency situations, but who would take on that liability? Hospitals don't even want to take on liabilities to perform certain surgeries, but this guy on a cruise ship, he ain't afraid to take the risk, y'all. He will. You need a surgery? No problem. I think the spring has sprung in Alaska. Bingo, Jen says. So the the episode continues. The guy, the first officer that needed the, that got bitten by the shark, he's kind of stable, but then they get an SOS from another small vessel out in the water somewhere that something happened to, I think their engine cut out and they're surrounded by sharks. So they go to get them. Somebody has been attacked by a shark. They go, they get the guy and girl that have been bitten by the sharks, and it just so happens with them is their doctor. Like, it's like, what kind of excursion was this? This is worse than anything that happened on Gilligan's Island for sure. They end up bringing them back to the ship, and then it's multiple surgeries, amputations, uh, all kinds of procedures happening on the cruise ship in what we would think of as the small ship's clinic. That was a lot. On my last cruise, a lady fell off an open air taxi in Mazatlan. She broke her hip. They put her back on the cart and took her to the ship. Wow. But again, I'm sure no surgery was performed on the ship. Yeah, OMG, that is crazy. She stayed in the cabin until we got back to Long Beach. Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Eli fired all the park rangers at the Mendenhall Glacier and left two janitors. Yeah, I know. There's all kinds of stuff going on with the firings, David. I would take my chances and stay on the ship until I could get to a U.S. port. Yeah, I agree for sure. The cab driver thought she was all the way in, and she wasn't. And he hit the gas, and she fell off. Oh wow, 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 wow. That's horrible. That is horrible. Um, I hope that, well, you said she stayed in her cabin until they got back to Long Beach. Yeah, to me again, that makes sense. I don't know. And we all know how expensive everything is, and trying to get insurance to pay for um things, cover all your procedures on a normal basis. So I can only imagine what it would be like in another country. And that's assuming you have, either way, that you have trip insurance that's going to cover um, an incident like that. So, anyway, what else was I was going to talk about with that? Okay, Ada, you watch what was like, huh? Or shocking to you about this episode? I would have been the shark. He was David. He was chillaxing on the surfboard. He never saw it coming. He was shocked, surprised. Oh, that would bankrupt you. No way could I pay for that in another country. Exactly, exactly. Um, yeah. Let alone. I'm sorry. I don't want us to get too deep. It is a TV show. But seriously, for those who have, if anybody has been to the infirmary, I understand it's very expensive. So can you imagine, what it would be like, what the cost would be like in a hospital situation at home with insurance? Can you imagine what the doctor on a cruise ship would charge? There was no anesthesiologist, so you don't have to worry about that bill. But can you imagine what the charges would be on the from the cruise ship for that kind of emergency? Wow. No Jaws music playing. No, no Jaws music. All the orcas surrounding the yacht. Oh, that's what you were surprised about, Etta. Alice McKinley, that show loved to jolt us watching. um yeah, okay, yes, that was the second episode. Meanwhile, I mean, there is a very it's a definitely an after dark show. It's a definitely nighttime drama. So the love, literally the love triangle that is going on in the background of all of these medical dramas is like, whoa. It was like, I don't even know, upside down pineapple central. And this is the crew because there were no passengers on this ship. Um, they give you tequila and a belt to bite on. Yeah, the guy had a, I don't know what it was, but basically something to bite on as they were trying to decide if they're gonna amputate his ankle, foot, something like that. It was nuts. All of the, oh, I said that already. All of the orcas surrounding the yacht. Yes. So in the second episode, I was like, where did they find that? Yeah, it was like, is that a pacifier? Like, what was that? The flirty doctor is something else. Yeah, they're all something else. You know who you would expect to be? I mean, I guess he's in a. It's hard to say a serious role because this show was like out there. But Don Johnson is like, you would expect him to be the flirty one. He's staying out of the love drama. I think. I guess that's good for the captain. I don't know. LF McKinley, they are serious about their ducks. At least I was talking about the big duck the ship was pulling behind. Yes. Yes, that was they were very serious about the ducks. The duck, those quackers. This cruise line that this fictional cruise ship is like supposed to be very high end, right? You know, I think at one point when he was talking about the quackers, he didn't. Don Johnson didn't. He's like, oh, why do we have to deal? Why do we have to have the quackers on board? Why can't that go to one of the mid range ships? I think it's midpoint ships. So like he's talking about what I cruise on. I'll speak for myself. I'm not on the region seven seas or the Queen whatever it is. It's not Mary. Is it Queen Mary? Not the QE2 or 3. It's like Carnival. Royal Caribbean is a mid-range ship. So why did they have to deal with it? It's supposed to be super exclusive and luxurious. They make a big deal of, you know, just of how the ship looks. Um so it was like, oh, yet you have all of this other stuff happening on the ship. The big duck is what Miss Legation was referring to. Where did they find that? No, I get it now. Yes, that would have been hard to miss. But if you guys, we do our homework? You got me talking to myself. I was talking about the pacifier thing they gave the guy. I don't know what to call it. It wasn't a bite belt, as Denise was trying to tell us about. Anywho, moving on to the orcas. The orcas, a pool of a school of orcas. I don't know. Are they called a school when they're in a pod? What's a group of orcas called? A group of whales called? Probably a pod. They in the second episode that we watched, they surrounded the ship and I guess basically started attacking the ship and knocked out the power to the ship. So they kind of couldn't go anywhere, but they were trying to get back to shore, of course, because of all of the passengers that needed medical treatment. And it was, I had heard that before about how whales will sometimes sort of play with boats and they could really, of course, because of their size, they could really cause damage and it's a really scary, intense situation. But um that was that was a lot. Was the orcas playing hide and seek? No. Apparently the orcas were like, we're here, it's our ocean, you're in our way. They were not trying to hide. Lagesha, you did not say duck the first time. Oh gosh. Yeah, too too damn many is what they're called. Yes. Again, a pod. Thank you, Denise. If you guys have ever been to SeaWorld, we just think of like Shamu and the shows and all that stuff. But of course, in the ocean, in their natural habitat, they have that killer whale name for a reason. So the orcas, the killer whales did big damage. You don't have to look back, Lakeisha. I don't know what you said either, but I did not think you were talking about the duck. I thought you were talking about the mouthpiece thing. Oh gosh. You guys are a mess. Um, so anyway, all that to say, I really, really, really want to like the show. The dumb laptop won't allow me to scroll up, but I got it. Ooh, no, so sorry. See, this is what I'm talking about. I thought the show was gonna be a fun, campy love boat style show with a doctor on board, not the risque craziness that it is. So I keep wanting to like the show. Um, because that is cracking up. I'm howling. I keep wanting to like the show, and I keep, I keep mentioning it, and so that's how we got drawn into this whole like pulling a what? Denise, we're trying. I'm trying to focus here. I'm trying to focus. Uh, I keep wanting to like the show, but I don't think that's gonna be my go-to um replacement for some cruise drama. I mean, I'd rather like wait until I'm actually on a cruise ship and just see what people are doing. I mean, I rather anyway, you guys, you guys are funny. So I don't know, Etta, if you're gonna continue to watch, because I think you said you watch it regularly, you'll have to let us know about the whole, is it gonna be is there gonna be a new baby on board? Is she gonna go to medical school? Like how this all turns out. We're gonna have to find our ocean views and ship views, um, somewhere else, because there weren't nearly as many of those kinds of things happening on board the cruise ship as I thought, which is why I wanted to watch. Absolutely. So if you have not seen it, I don't know. We probably lost Sherry at this point. She's like, the what? If you have not seen Doctor Odyssey and you need somebody to talk to about it, compare notes. I think Edda's the one now. Oh, I gotta watch the giant. It's a duck. It's a duck, Denise. It's a duck. But I have seen on I don't I think it's on been on Instagram. It might have been on YouTube where one of the channels, I want to say like Fraser at Sea, or if you guys follow him, or Emma Cruises, um were showing, I don't even know what cruise line it was, but it was a shop that had nothing but ducks. Um all sizes, not quite as big as that one that they were towing behind, but lots of ducks. Just shelves and shelves and shelves of ducks. So I don't know. Episode 8. Hi, Mr. DJ. Episode number 8 of Bone Time Travelers. Okay. That's the quackers. Okay, I'll be nice. Yeah, I think unless it's like a holiday special or some other real big name celebrities, I might tune in again, but I don't think that's my show. Sorry, Etta. I don't think that's my show. All right. Well, that was fun, you guys. Thanks for playing along. But since he did mention about not wanting the Quackers on his ship, why couldn't it go on to one of the other mid-range cruise ships? Do you guys know which company owns which cruise lines? I don't necessarily know where we fall in the range. I don't know what's their super high end ones, or or not. Wait, what was that? Somebody's been up 25 hours. I'm delirious. Loretta Devine. Yes. She was on, right? That's who I was talking about with the very deep storyline about escaping life. And yeah, that took a turn. Been good at just miss cruising. I'm an addict. How have you been? What? Share. Work last night, up all day. Yes. Is that not your normal shift, Denise? I know you normally working on the weekends when you pop in on my Saturdays. Oh my goodness. But anyway, making sure you're awake and alert. Time for a nap. Yes, absolutely. Denise has got to rest. Um, what cruise lines does Carnival own? Do you guys know? Um, Here's a list, and I think these are not, obviously they're not all in America. I'm thinking is pronounced Ada, AIDA, Ada. Carnival Cruise Line, Costa Cruises, Cunard Line, Holland America Line, P&O Cruises, P&O Cruises Australia, Princess Cruises, and Seabourn Cruise Line. I didn't know it was that many. under the Carnival Corporation umbrella. Cunard, yeah, that's what this list says. That's what this list says. And then which cruise lines does Royal Caribbean own? Azamara, Celebrity Cruises. I don't know how to say this. Pullmantur, Pullmantur, Pullmantur. Royal Caribbean International, Silver Seas, and TUI Cruises. Um, they closed down P&O this year. Oh, this week that is. Okay. Princess 2. Wow, yes. I knew that. I knew that they owned um Princess because that's like their next tier, talking about the tiers. But I don't I think Princess Cruises, the ships are really nice, but I don't know that they're supposed to be this level of luxury that um, Doctor Odyssey is supposed to be like. So I was just trying to figure out what cruise line would be kind of comparable, not to all the happenings, just the luxury part of the ships. Royal Korea. Oh, I said that already. What Royal owns? Norwegian Cruise Lines owns. Didn't they say Norwegian? No, Holland America. Norwegian Cruise Line, Oceania Cruises, and Regent Seven Seas Cruises. Disney is just Disney. And then I've never heard of Genting. Genting Hong Kong Limited is Crystal Cruises, Dream Cruises, and Star Cruises. In case you ever wanted to know. That's what this list from the cruise critics says, anyway. So if you know the question mark meant that's the only one I thought I knew. Oh, okay. Um, yeah, I thought I knew I would recognize more of the names, but I don't think I'll be going on the Odyssey either, so it's fine. It's fine. um, I'm trying to think. I've written down a couple of questions because I just wanted to see. Yeah, no, I think I covered those. I'm leaving without an answer, Etta. Why were there no what was the story? What was the backstory? Why did they not have passengers this week or this day? That's odd, right? Every once in a while we'll hear the story about how the crew members don't have breaks. They work every day and they work these crazy shifts, which is understandable once we understand that how their contracts work. I get it now. I get it. It's not that that's what their contract says and that's what they're supposed to work. But and I'm not knocking them for having a fun day or day off or whatever, but it was a little odd in this whole wild storyline on Doctor Odyssey that there was no passengers. To me, it was odd. Anyhow, everybody saying hi, or Etta saying hi to Marjorie. Crystal Cruises is what the singer Stephanie was on from Royal Cruise Line. Yeah, I know. I don't. Did she move there? I mean, I don't think she switched, but she did do a um did do some Crystal Cruises. It was a break for them. It was just a break. It was just a break. Everybody needs a little break every once in a while, Etta says. It was just a break. It was just a break. All right. Well, I was expecting a more like, I don't know. I don't know. Another answer. Like they were taking the ship to dry dock. They were getting ready for a big international transatlantic around the world cruise. I don't know, something like that. So I say keep an eye out for a more it's not my Love Boat replacement. Does the Love Boat actually, you know how there's one of those shows that's always on in syndication? Is it on in syndication anywhere? Does anyone know? We need that. Anyone watching White Lotus since we're on crazy shows? No, I don't know that one. I don't know that one. Is it crazier than this one? I'd be very surprised if I mean I know people like a juicy nighttime soap, but this one seems a little too out there. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is 10 years down the line we'll be like, is Doctor Odyssey still on? Yes. And it says, yes. It's a little out there. It's a little out there. I don't know if that's what you're saying yes to, but it is. All right, you guys. Well, start with season one. It's way out there. Well, especially on a Monday night. You know, I always say, you guys, I like to come on and catch up with everybody and just have a laugh or two because things are crazy enough as it is. I can't. I don't want to think too much when I'm watching TV. I just want to relax. These shows have you all like, what? Oh my god! So I don't know, and I might not be able to get hooked on another one. Way out there. Is that on Hulu as well for those wanting to know about White Lotus? It's way out there. All right, you guys. Well, I thought I thought this was fun. I thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching the show, Doctor Odyssey. If you hadn't ever even thought about it, there's some episodes. If you watch like Shark Week on what does that come on? Discovery, TLC. What channel does that even come on? When they do the Shark Week, Sharknado, the whole thing. It's not that. This episode was not that. We barely even saw a shark or an orca. I think we saw a fin only. There were no, the sea was not raining sharks. It was something. It was something. Oh, White Lotus is on HBO. Oh, well, that's the whole other animal. You know that one's gonna be a little out there. This was great. You guys are funny. Um, I did try. I want an A on my homework. You get an A on your homework, a gold star, Legacia. You tried. I understand. I'm gonna be a very understanding instructor here. I know it was a lot. I understand if you couldn't get through it. It's all good. Sound interesting, but not quite my speed. Agreed, Keisha. You're not gonna watch this one. I'm not gonna watch it anymore either. I don't think. Kim already came on and said, "Oh no, I'm out. I'm not watching that." So I think that's right. I'm a Game of Thrones fan, so I never saw that one either. But I don't have HBO. So anywho, it just wasn't what I was expecting. That's all. If you're prepared for that or know what it's gonna be about, no problem. But I wanted ocean views. And I wanted to see people, being silly on the Lido and, maybe some fabulous fashions and the captain's dinner and that kind of stuff. It was a whole lot more this past week. But anyway, you guys, I hope you had fun. It was a good Monday. You have a great week, and we will. I've got. I've read the GOT books. Huh? Could not get into the movies. Yes, I understand. Game of Thrones books. Got it. Got it. Got it. Um. So yeah, everybody just have a really good week. I hope the weather is calms down for everybody, and we can just wait for some springtime temps to come on in. And although I think there was lots of snow in parts of the country too, so it's just wild weather. Have a great evening, everyone. See y'all next time. See you next time, Chet. I don't think Chet's watching the show either. It's like, what? Sausage? What are you talking about? What is this? Anyhow, bye, you guys. Have a great week. I'll see you back next Monday, not before. Have a good one. Bye.